Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What is up, wrestling fans? This is Worlds Collide featuring myself, Zhan, from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube, and
Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com. And you nailed it that time, sir.
I did. We're getting this. It didn't take me a month. It took me like a week to get this down this time.
This is awesome.
So did you ever expect that you would own a part of Andre the Giant's jockstrap?
What? I never thought that in a million years, man. It's a really weird and it's actually kind of cool. I think it's cool.
Myself included. It became, when I saw that, I started laughing immediately when Collectable put that as an offering, and I was like, you know what? This is so weird. It's truly one of a kind. It's so obscure, and I don't have to put it in my house, and I don't have to break the bank. I'm in.
I'm totally in.
And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is just the world of digital collectibles. And I really think this could really help a lot of people out in just having fun, getting priced out of certain things, getting frustrated with grading and conditions and eBay and all of these things. I think digital collectibles could be a way to they're not going to replace physical tangible goods ever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is going to be like a supplemental way to have fun and potentially make some money along the way. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Tony, I think I may be putting words in your mouth, but I think you were a little bit skeptical when digital collectibles first became a thing. So
you were 100% correct about that.
What was your opinion then, and what is it now, and how's that evolved?
For me, I just couldn't wrap my head around not physically holding something that I own. Whether it be even, now we'll go into it later. So, having fractional sharing, obviously, but just outright owning, I can do, I talked to Adam Gilman's like that about digital collectibles like that before. And it was just, I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, to me, the best way to describe it was, think of it as owning CDs or vinyl, but I like to have that as a collectible, but I can still have it from a streaming service, like Spotify or Pandora. So that's like, okay, I get that. I still physically want to own some things, but I can see, like, on the go, I can have things, I can listen to my music. And it took me a while to get into it because I was like, I just don't get it. And the more I talked to you and the more I started seeing stuff on social media, I started kind of looking into it, doing my homework. I actually love it now. It actually has made me really want to collect again.
So
I'm having fun.
Yeah. And that's the whole reason I wanted to do this topic, is because I see too many people not having fun, and they're making excuses why they're not having fun. Like I said, the grading or dealing with eBay returns or being
I'm priced out. I can't afford this. Box prices are double now. I can't afford to do that. You're pricing the collector out. Well, there's alternatives now to go out there and still have that fun of collecting, whether it's like a digital rip, you want to digitally rip a pack open, or buying into a fractional ownership of something collectible, whether it be a trading card or like Andre's jockstrap, which is just, again, I'm never going to not talk about that and not laugh about it too.
Yeah. And let's just get started right off with fractional ownership. And we're talking about website. Well, not they are websites, but the apps, Collectable, Rally, those are the two I use. There's a few others out there. This seems to be the one that kind of broke the wall, so to speak, to get you into them, and you kind of understood it finally from this point. Mm-hmm. So what would you say, like, we're going to do pros and cons. So what do you think the pros are for these fractional ownership companies?
One, it brings back some fun for me. First and foremost, it brings the fun back in collecting for me, because it's something that I can actually afford to do. You can have, this stuff. Again, it also all falls into what I've been saying for decades, which is you treat it like a stock market. And this is truly treating like a stock market.
Yep.
These items go up they're all IPO, and you can buy into them. Typically, these are around $10 a share. I've seen them as low as $2. I saw them as low as $2 a share, depending on what it was. And you can go in and very affordable. I can go in and buy 1 share, 2 shares. I mean, you are capped out too, which is nice. They say a person can only cap out at $200 or
Right.
$150. So I know that I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars to have a piece of something that I be cool to own. And it's gotten me into other things that I never would have gotten into before. Like I was never really a diehard sports collector. So I wasn't into football and basketball. I follow as a fan, but I don't collect that stuff.
Right.
But now because I can own a share, I can own a share of like a Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Dr. J scoring
Yeah.
leader card. Hell, that's cool, man.
Right.
I'm buying it. I'll buy a share. So
So
it's fun.
have you ran into any cons yet?
It seems like it's still new for them as a technology. So I've had issues in where to put my money into, as far as like, how do you take my money? Here's my money. I can use a credit card. I can link my bank account. You have a wallet where I can just dump money into my wallet and try to use that. I've heard things. I haven't tried to buy from my wallet, but I've heard from you having problems trying to buy from your wallet. I had problems from them trying to charge my credit card. So I just, you know what? Here's my budget. I'm going to set it up into my savings account, and here it is. And they took it right out and it went through no problem from there. Communication, it's pretty decent. I usually get up within 24 hours. I get some kind of a feedback from them, so I'm pretty good. I really haven't seen a whole lot of cons. I haven't had any problems with the app locking up on me. I know it's become so popular. They're doing what HGA does, like that, where they're putting people in a queue system.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on there. It goes IPO at 1 p.m. my time. I'm on at 1 p.m. Boom, I'm in. I'm randomized or whatever. It's not even random. I guess it's in the order you logged in, I guess.
Yeah, and you can watch it go down.
Yeah, and I'm watching, like the worst I've been in is like number 54.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, and I'm watching, and it just goes down. Boom, 53, 52, boom, 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 49. But it just goes down. There's still this many shares available. You know, here's what, and so I've been loving it. It's kind of fun.
So I'll give my pros and cons, and you can give feedback on this, so we can just keep the banter going. I think the pros are you can own pieces, and here we go, the Andre jockstrap again. Pieces of one of a kind memorabilia and collectibles that you would never imagine yourself owning, and that's either Andre's jockstrap, or in my case, the very first thing I bought was a share of the Michael Jordan '86 Fleer PSA 10. That's nothing I'm probably going to be able to afford anytime soon, and if I could afford it, I'm probably, we hear all these stories of people that are like, oh yeah, I've got that card, it's in my safety deposit box. Well,
Yeah.
if you've got it in your safety deposit box, how is that any different than in a safe with Collectables?
Correct.
Or with PWCC, or where of these consignment companies that keep your stuff in a vault? So that's, and you've got the picture on your phone. You have a gallery picture of it. So hey, I want to look at my collectibles. Okay, well, I pull out my phone and I can scroll high resolution pictures of everything I own.
Yeah,
So
I love that. This morning, my portfolio got updated for the first time this morning. And I'm like looking at all my investments. They finally showed up there.
Yeah, it's great.
And I'm like, I can see whenever I want.
It's like a binder. It has the same feel of looking through a binder.
Yep.
And I love this low entry point, like you said. Like anybody can get into this. And the only con that I can come up with is the money thing. Like you said, when I first got into it, I put money in the wallet, because it's like you have to have money into your wallet to be able to buy things. Okay, sure, no problem. So I did that, and then I believe my first transaction went through okay. And then I was also able to put bids on existing IPO products through the wallet. But then if I was going to try to buy a share of a new item that was just getting put out there to IPO, then I had to use my bank account, and it wouldn't let me use my wallet. So and I emailed them, and they got back to me really quick, but they're like, we'll look into it. They couldn't really give me a good answer. So I was like, whatever. And the only other thing I've seen some people talk about is that they want to get into it, but then they found out like you have to post pictures of your driver's license, you have to give your social security number, all that stuff. And I'm like,
But it's no different than buying in the
no,
stock market. If I go
like,
to TD Waterhouse or something like that, I got to get the information.
yeah, it's 2021. It's time
Yeah.
to move up in with the times. We're not on horse and buggies anymore. So,
Yeah. If you're worried about someone getting your information, trust me, they can already get it without doing that already.
yep, yep. So let's move on to something else that I know you're familiar with, and this comes back to I guess, the card aspect, and that's the digital card collecting apps. So we're talking about Topps has Bunt for baseball, Slam, WWE. They've got the Star Wars, they have Disney, and then Panini's got Dunk and Blitz, which are the basketball and the football.
Yep.
You did a whole show with Adam Gelman, which is a fantastic show. I thought that was an awesome entry point for anybody wanting to get into digital. Once again, when you did that, I'm sure you didn't quite understand how it
I
works.
didn't.
Have you been able to mess around with them or understand them anymore from then until now?
I understand them better now, but I have not messed with them at all. It's still not something that I really want to get myself involved in. I fell more at the same time that happened. You introduced me to collectibles and for the fractional sharing, and I kind of leaned towards that more. And I'm glad I did. I really like that a lot. But then you start seeing things like, Top Shop and, these other apps you're talking about as well. They seem appealing to me. And I think part of it is I'm scared, to be honest with you. I'm a little scared to kind of throw myself in there and then get really hooked.
That's what happens. But there's
I
different
think I'm
ways
scared.
there's different ways you can do it. And I'll kind of give you just kind of I've been on these apps for, like, I've been doing the WWE Slam off and on since it first came out, because I was just like, oh, this is cool. And the first thing is it's all free. You can jump on there, you can open packs, you can trade, you can collect every day. They give away free coins. You can mine coins to then buy packs. You can do all of these things and do whatever you want, and it costs you no money, just a little bit of time. And it's kind of like as little or as lot of time as you want to put into it. You want to just open a few packs a day and, just kind of play around? Well, you don't need to spend more than an hour a day doing it. But if you want to, like, kind of gamify it, there's ways to do that. If you want to try to build collections because you get addicted to it, then you can trade with people. And
There's my problem.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people could look at these and be like, well, I'm a player collector, I'm a team collector. All of these are available to do for 100% free. So while you're putting your big money on your PC cards or you're paying for grading costs, you do have this app in your phone, which, I know you've not messed around with them, but when you're opening packs, it really feels like you're opening packs and you're scrolling through cards. You don't have to worry about them getting damaged. There's no grading.
They're all mint.
Yeah, all the cards, there's serial numbers on them, so there's only so many that are made of, the majority of them, especially with the WWE ones. It tells you the card count right at the top. And then once it's sold out, it's sold out. And there's only, 1,000 or 2 or whatever there are on this. So it's just like real cards with serial numbers. One thing that I did notice recently, my account got suspended.
Why? What are you doing?
Selling them on eBay.
Really?
Yes.
Because when I talked to Adam, I even pulled up eBay records while I was right there live talking to him, and they were selling for mad money on there. Like, there's a lot of them selling.
Yep. It technically, I think it is against their terms and conditions, but I had done it for a while and they didn't do anything. And then all of a sudden, the next thing I know, it says your account's suspended. I emailed them and they replied back basically that terms and conditions I broke, and there's no time frame on if I will be enabled or anything. So I just started a brand new account with a different email account. So the thing was, all those cards I had collected, I could still log in and they're all still there.
Oh.
So
even though your account's suspended, you still technically own those cards then?
I do. Now, I can't do anything with them other than look at them because they're, and that also creates a scarcity thing, because what if there's only 1,000 of a card and I've got 6 of them that are never going to be able to go anywhere? Well, then that means there's only that much more out there in the digital space.
Yep.
So there's like, I'm a huge Buffalo Bills fan, so I'm able to collect like the team. I was always wanting to get into team collecting, but I was like, man, I don't want, shelves over here just with monster boxes full of just junk cards, because I want to collect as many of the team as I could. But guess what? I can do it digitally. I've got it with me all the time. It doesn't take any money, doesn't take up any space. Player collecting, you can do the same thing. Wrestling, same thing. Like, whoever, like, they've got classic stuff. The fully loaded set, they had fully loaded cards on there that are the exact same cards as what you can buy.
Really?
Yeah, same thing with the relics. Now, again, it's a photo, but it has actual auto on it. And from what I understand, I've seen some of the long time ago. I saw some of the videos. They do actually digitally sign, and then they take that digital signature and put that on the cards. But it's not like they just took a picture of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's not a facsimile. It's an actual legit. It's like taking like the Samsung Note phone and signing on
That's
the.
exactly how
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's my understanding. Now, I don't know if that's the same for everything,
Which is
but
funny. I had people back when the Note 3 or Note 4 came out, and I was doing the convention scene, and someone came over to one of my guests when I was working and took the picture because I charged them for the photo op. And then they took the picture. And they go, "Can you take my stylist and sign it?" And they had her sign like that. And so
that's
they had their own like, you little sneaky guy, you sneaky guy. You got around that. It's awesome,
that's
actually.
awesome. Yeah. So that's another cool thing about those. And now you can spend real money. And this is kind of I found information. I'm going to do a video on this at some point. There's information from Panini that they're thinking about attaching blockchain on the back end of their apps.
I heard that.
And Topps has already got blockchain involved with their Garbage Pail Kids, and they now have got, as of yesterday, Godzilla blockchain.
Yeah, I saw that
cards.
Godzilla and King Kong. Yeah.
So my logic is these are app based. Those are not, from my understanding. So everybody's got a phone. Everybody could have this in their hand. If they could set this up to where they use the blockchain technology on these cards, that's never going to replace, physical cards, but I think this could end up seeing a huge increase in popularity.
Yeah, I agree.
So, does the logic make sense to you?
It makes all of it always makes sense to me. It's still something that I can't wrap my head around of not physically holding a card. It's just something that's difficult. And the more I say that, the more I have to remind myself that it's CDs and vinyl, Tony. Okay, so it's the same thing. You still have your vinyl you like to collect, but you also can still just go on Spotify and buy the damn album that way.
Let me put it this way to you. Does it, because so many of the collectibles, whether it's here we go again, the Andre the Giant jockstrap, or whether you've got a card numbered to 99 that's a digital, because there's a finite amount of those things, does that make it easier to understand, like from a collecting standpoint? As I see your example of the vinyl and Spotify is dead on with what we're talking about. The only difference is, I think, with the serial numbers on some of this, and then if it got blockchain on top of that,
you're really limiting it down. It's like that, and you're tagging it for some sort of a value on it's like that, which is great. So yeah, I get the collectability of it's like that. I'm very intrigued by it. I have to go back to what I think is I'm just scared of myself as a collector, of me going into it too deeply.
Right, and that's understandable. The one con I do want to say on these is that Topps recently, let's see, they haven't, well, not recently, they haven't had the license for the NFL for a while, and they lost their license with UFC.
Yep.
That was two apps that they used to really push hard, was the NFL app and the UFC app. They no longer have the license. The last I knew, whatever you had as far as cards go. You could still buy packs, but they were like base cards. They weren't doing any more inserts. They weren't doing any more anything. And you could still trade, but that's it. Like, you can't, they're not supporting the app anymore. And that was a while ago. So I don't know if you can still even download. Actually, you know what? While we're talking.
Yeah. So there's the issue that a lot of people are going to say, well, what happens if somebody loses a license or it goes away? What happens to all my investment?
Right. And that's the problem. Like, okay, so I just checked, you can still download the UFC app. So all of your cards are still there without having that blockchain technology or any way to do anything with them. That's the problem. So
now it's just a worthless app.
Yes. And you still technically do own the cards.
So you took my cards that maybe at some point had some kind of value, even though it's digital, and now you made them all a bunch of commons and I can't do anything with it.
Right. Now you may still be able to sell them on eBay. I don't know. I mean,
how?
Because you can still trade.
You can still trade within the app?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one of the cons is if they take this off the server and don't have that blockchain technology, then it's just what you said, like it's worthless.
It's worthless.
But my angle with this is, hey, if I get into these things, and no matter if it's an hour a day or 6 hours, however much I'm timing, like I'm having fun. Like I'm having fun collecting these cards. And if
that's what it is. As long as you're having fun doing it, that's why I have fun doing the fractional stuff like that. I'm investing in things, and then I'm getting a rush of like, like I can't believe, like, I'm going to go back and probably buy a share in it because I can't believe it hasn't sold yet. Like, I don't think some of it's not an investment standpoint, some just from a collectible and a cool thing to
Right.
have. So something like, hey, this could be worth something someday. If this sells more, I can get more on my shares. But that Sandy Koufax jersey, I can't believe it still hasn't funded.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
It blows my mind. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna go buy a share just to have a piece of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And if I was talking about these things like the card, like these digital cards, the thing with the collectible, like the jersey, that there's no zero. There's no zero sum game on that. Like it's
Yeah,
going to it's a digital purchase that's tied to a tangible asset, which is a little bit more similar to a stock because it's tied to a
correct.
tangible company, you know.
Yes,
So with these cards, like if they go to zero, I'm not out anything because I refuse to spend any personal actual money on it. I just spend the in-game currency, which you just build up over time. But what I'm
how do you
thinking,
build that up?
you get so many free coins a day. There's like ads you can click on to like watch videos that give you coins. You can sell. Panini lets you actually auction off your cards for coins. So like Panini actually has the system set up perfectly to actually start using real money. Tops is a little bit different, but I think Tops user interface is a little bit nicer. So there's pros and cons to both, but I'm just trying to get a bunch of free stuff and having fun right now. And if they end up bolting that blockchain on, hey, all of a sudden I can sell all this stuff that I've been working on. Or if they don't, I'm just having fun doing it for free. So
Yeah.
just something else I wanted to throw out there for people who are kind of frustrated, looking for different ways to have fun or speculate or do whatever while you're, waiting to send cards into the grading companies or saving up money to purchase that huge grail card. So anything
Well,
else you want
just
to
for
touch?
those out there, for which seems to be people who are bitching, complaining a lot lately, which is, I'm priced out. Like I
Yeah.
want to get back in, or I've been in for so long, but I can't afford to keep going anymore. This is a great alternative.
And the last digital aspect I want to talk about, and I don't know that you have as much experience with this, but I want to tie this back to WTC because when you told me the way that you organized WTC and you're like, hey, this is my collection, light bulb went off, and this is what happened with me. And that is using ComC. And then if you have sports cards, they're not taking wrestling cards right now, but Star Stock. And basically what these are online consignments, and you send your cards to them. They scan them. You've got the images up. You can keep them in your vault. You can sell them. You can flip. You can buy, sell, trade, flip, whatever. But it's tied to a tangible asset, which is the card that you sent in or the card that
Mhm.
you bought. And you go to my inventory, and it brings up the front and the back of all of your cards scanned in. You
Mhm.
can change the price live. There's no shipping. There's like once you get the cards there, whoever buys the cards, you don't have to worry about shipping it to them. That you just pay the fee of whatever it costs to the company, the platform you're using to charge. There's no, like, if guess what, if you get a deal with returns, you're not dealing with the returns, that company is. So whenever I heard you say my collection is WTC because all of my cards are on there, I just look them up and
Yep,
they're like, that's it, that's exactly what that is.
that's what it is. Yep. So then in that respect, it makes a lot more sense to me when I think about it that way.
So that's just another avenue that people can get on to. I got on ComC a couple years ago, and I put, I don't know, like $20 in, and I started buying just awesome cards that I thought were like, well, wow, why is this 5 cents? Why is this 10 cents? So I'd buy like Star Wars or some old classic baseball of superstars, whatever it was, and I would flip those live, and just keep building up. And then as that would build up, I would have money sitting in there. I could then send in some of my base wrestling cards or junk wax baseball, and then they would ingest those, and I would use that money that I had sold those previous cards. So now I have like 700 or 800 cards on there, which isn't that much in the grand scheme of things. But I can go into it and I can see everything front and back images. Like I said, it's like your
And
little
their cards you
online
send to them,
collection.
and they hold it for you.
Right. And but then you can also buy from others on the same platform, and they just
Gotcha.
automatically appear. And then you can do one. It's, you can let them sit there and you can still view them. You can ship them back to you so you can get them in a tangible form, or you can just turn around and try to resell them or hold them and then resell them at a later date. So
Gotcha.
just another aspect of ways that you can use technology and, digital age that we're in to still enjoy the hobby.
It's all very interesting stuff, and I'm dipping my toes into it, and I'm having fun with it actually. So now I have this conversation. I feel like I'm going to go right to my phone and just go right to that WWE app.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this is never going to replace cards. It never will. I'm not saying it should. You know, I'm just saying it's another avenue. And the fact that I could have, you know, I was talking about collecting the Buffalo Bills cards. Like, if I got to where I had like all of the cards and thousands of cards, guess what? That takes up no room.
Yeah, zero room.
And I'm still like, I'm having fun doing it. There's parallels, there's autographs, serial them, all that. Everything that's in cards is on these apps, or in some cases, you've got the Andre the Giant jockstrap. We're gonna just keep going back to that because it never gets old.
And I
Where
keep laughing every time.
where else are you gonna find that? You know, you can't just go down to your local card store and buy that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a one of a kind items like that. I just, when you mentioned that to me, I'm like, I'm all over this.
Yep.
I got to have this. I got to have a piece of this. This is fun.
And I will just kind of give my final thoughts with this. Everybody wants the 82 All Stars cards. Collectables going to have Andre and a Hogan batch of one of each together coming up here pretty soon. So that will be your chance for all of you wrestling fans to jump in on this.
Yeah, if you want to own a piece of those two cards, I look at it. I show my wife. She goes, "Hey, when?" And she's getting into it now too. She's like, "Hey, so when's that Hogan and that Giant thing? When's that coming up for the cards?" And I go, "Oh, you mean the All Stars onto the Giant?" She goes, "Yeah, you knew what I meant." And I go, I said, come up pretty soon. And she goes, I said, "Man, it just pains me when I look at it though, because I had those cards in my possession, and I sold them years ago, but now I don't feel as bad anymore. I can own a share of it. I can actually own a piece of it, which is cool. I just think it's so cool.
Yeah,
And I don't have to house it anywhere. I don't have to put it in some kind of protector. I don't have to put it in the closet. It doesn't sit in a box. I can look at it whenever the hell I want on my phone."
Yep, that's exactly what I love about it, because a lot of these these crusty old curmudgeon gatekeeper guys, and they're like, "Oh, well, I've got this, 52 mantle. It's in my safety deposit box." Well, how is that any different? That's actually less safe, I would say,
Yeah.
than being insured with some of these major companies in these vaults.
Yeah. Yeah. And how are you viewing that every day? Do you go to your vault every day and check it out?
Yeah, that's a neat, and not only like it's
Well,
high
I can't do it right
resolution.
now. I'm on vacation in Hawaii. Well, I can be in Hawaii and look at my collection.
Exactly what I'm talking about. So, do you got any final thoughts on digital collectibles before we get out of here?
Other than that, I'm every day I get more and more intrigued by it, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's something that casual collectors should look into. Other than the uncomfortableness of supplying all your personal data, because it's like a stock market. It's a fun thing. It's a very inexpensive and fun thing to get involved in, and you might find yourself getting into something that you never thought you'd buy into.
Andre the Giant jockstrap.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's right up my alley, though. Kind of for wrestling. But I'm invested in some football stuff. I got some basketball stuff. I never thought I would never buy that stuff out of my own pocket. At a card show or something like that. I just wouldn't do it. But to have a small, like, that's kind of cool to own. I think I bought into that. I bought into the Manning, Favre, and
those autographed jerseys.
Yeah, well, the Manning one was the only one that wasn't autographed, though.
Oh, okay.
But the Favre was from the famous Thanksgiving Day game, and I think it was a Merino jersey too.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought into that. I go, why not? These are cool, man. These are so cool.
And then if you want to be like me and just jump off the deep end and doing random stuff, Rally.
Did you buy dinosaur bones?
I did not, but that's the thing. Rally's got dinosaur bones. They've got the first Apple I computer. They've got Rolexes. They've got wine. They've got vintage.
Just weird oddball stuff.
Yeah, just like I did buy into the Pokemon Yellow Game Boy Advance graded game. I bought into I bought into a Charizard PSA 10. I bought into the jersey that Michael Jordan was wearing when he shattered that backboard in that foreign game. I bought into the X-Men 1 comic that's graded. I mean,
nice.
And that's like, all that stuff is right up my alley. And that's something that these, digital collectibles allow you to do, is just kind of have fun and branch out into all these different ways for little to no money.
I think it's fun. I think the casual collector, someone like me who couldn't wrap my brain around it, if you get over the fact that you're not physically owning something, like it's not physical, but you do own a piece of something that someone actually has the physicalness of it, basically just think of it as like, you know what? I'm paying Jeeves over there to take care of my item for me.
Right. That's
I don't
exactly
have to
right.
do it. Just take care. My butler over there is taking care of my jerseys. I
Right.
don't have to worry about it. I pay him to take care of it.
Yep. That's as easy as you can put it, really.
Yeah.
And there's no fees. There's not like,
There's no
you know,
fees.
yeah, you just log in
It's
there.
a one and done. Here you go. Here's my $5, my $10, my $20, my $100, whatever you want to invest. You know, here's my money. That's what I'm into it for. I'm having fun. I
And
can walk around and tell people I own Andre the Giant's jockstrap,
jockstrap.
which I told my dentist today, and he got a kick out of it.
And then potentially somebody else that's going to get into the collectible app.
Exactly. I mean, having a conversation on my previous dental appointment with him, talking about wrestling, he wanted to know what I do and blah, blah, blah. And since then, I went back today for my appointment, and he said, yeah, I bought my niece. I bought her a pack of wrestling cards today. It's like that. And she loves them.
So what we got to do is get more people interested in collectibles, and whether it's, you know, digital, physical, no matter what the avenue is, and just keep the hobby going. It's never going to die, but of course,
No.
you know, we want to keep a slow trajectory going up. So all of these things that we're into are going to eventually appreciate and just get more knowledge, have more fun, all kinds of stuff.
I'm having fun for the first time in years. I'm having fun in this hobby.
Me
For the
too.
first time in years.
Tony, let everybody know where they can find you so they can find all of those high resolution pictures of that jockstrap.
It's going to be at anything that's wrestlingtradingcards.com, basically. I know the site's down right now, but if you do a Facebook search for wrestlingtradingcards.com, you'll find us. Everything will be on our wrestlingtradingcards.com.
You know what we should do? We should come up with an NFT, like maybe only make 5 of pictures of Andre's jockstrap autographed by you on the screen.
See,
Like, that's
hey,
a great idea.
see,
Yep.
it's so funny you say that because I was thinking something like that this afternoon. I'm so into this NFT stuff like that now too. It's just so much fun. I'm just having fun.
And you can find me, Zhan, at Zhan Morning, all over social, just whatever platform you're on.
Is there not a platform that you're not on, sir?
I know for a fact I don't use Snapchat, but
Okay.
I think I'm on most all other popular stuff. And then, of course, YouTube. That's where I'm mainly at. Go check out all my videos and please subscribe there. And if you can't find Tony's stuff or the website's still down, get a hold of me. I will get you all of his information, and then I'll redirect you to go watch all the videos because there's some great videos over there. Once more, I want to shout out the show you did with Adam on the digital WWE
He was
stuff.
extremely not like he was the perfect guy to talk about that stuff with because he'd been in it since day one.
Right.
And so he knew every little intricate detail and very informative. Like I walked away from that interview with him just kind of like, wow, this is a whole new world that I have a much better understanding of what's going on. And I'm interested. And then talking to you are what pushed me over into that world, which was with the Collectables app.
Right.
And I'm just having a lot of, like I said, I keep saying I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
That's what it's all about. And hopefully you guys can get some information from this show that we've talked about all this stuff today. And we'll put that forward in your hobby and quit being a curmudgeon, put in the work and go have some fun because that's what it's all about. Exactly. See you guys later.
Later.